Creativity is an addiction. How do I know this? Because I lay awake at night. I know what happens when I don't feed that wild beast. I don't give it the attention that it needs. It treats me like I'm addicted to it. I crave it. I have to have it. There are things that go through your mind, body, and soul when you're addicted to maybe alcohol or drugs, and you've got to feed that beast. Well, creativity is no different. You've got to do something with it. Learning how to deal with it is what this is all about. Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity, totally uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I heard a quote on television last night. It was from the TV show Blackish, which is on ABC. The quote was, "It's never going to be easy when you're in a league of your own." Let me repeat that. I want it to sink in very deeply. It's never going to be easy when you're in a league of your own. This quote defines the presence of a leader versus a follower. Yet I believe many who've chosen to follow are doing so because of a lack of confidence and or feel no need to carry the weight of so many high expectations. How many people actually believe that they are in a league of their own? To be there. Can you stay there? The requirements are. And to admit that you are in a league of your own, is that conceit or confidence? I know how this city has reacted to Cam Newton on the Carolina Panthers. For some reason, he's always getting blamed for doing wrong, when in fact millions of dollars are spent on the coaches making the decisions. And what about the other players on the field? Cam's not out there all by himself. How can it be Cam's fault? A league of your own. Those who are they teaching others how to shape their own craft? The Yoda effect, passing forward the experience. The hardest part about being in a league of your own is learning how to recognize it in other people. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I hear stuff like this on television, and my God in heaven, I got to study it. I take it as, well, look, dude, were you paying attention? How much were you paying attention? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to take it to the street? It's learning how to pick up the seeds and placing them inside that one source that is fueling your energy. This is The Daily Mess. There's always too much to do, but never enough time to physically do it. Or so it feels like that. It depends on how much you've been conditioned for the situation, mentally as well as physically. By far, it's way too easy to take up binge-watching television, that one thing that we did in March of 2020 when the pandemic began to take over the nation as well as the world. The choices are endless when it comes to binge-watching TV. Now, mentally speaking, what does sitting in front of the flat screen for many, many, many hours do to the human ambition? Of course, I had to do some research. And this is what happens when you sit in front of the TV. Obesity. You have sleeping problems, neck and back aches, as well as depression. During the COVID-19 lockdown, my wife and I put ourselves on a TV diet. We could only watch a certain amount of hours per day. And when it came to watching news, very limited, very limited. We had 24 hours to do whatever we wanted. And to this day, I still feel like there was never enough time to accomplish anything that we set out to do, especially since what we wanted to do was take care of the things that we've spent years setting aside. Even today, I use physical and mental discipline to keep myself focused on the tasks that we tend to ignore. Awareness is the truth. But to remain faithful to it strains every single source required in the process and purpose. There's always too much to do, but never enough time to do it. The reason why I bring this up is because here in the United States, a lot of businesses are enforcing the rule that you've got to come back to work. 2 years, 24 months. Where people have worked remotely from home, even the students, back and forth. They're working from home or they're working in class. What has that done to us mentally? We've got the time to do certain things, but we're choosing to binge watch instead. Not taking the long walks. Not paying attention to the things that are around us. Using the proper discipline to keep yourself from sitting back and just watching the flat screen. And that does include your smartphone as well as your computer. I'm very guilty of that. I can't keep my face out of the headlines. The discipline that I had back in March of 2020 to limit myself to news is actually my weakest point right now because I'm constantly trying to figure things out before they happen. And I can't do that. I'm not a news maker. But these news outlets have figured out a way for us to go, gotta have some more, gotta have some more. And Lord knows that when there is snow in the forecast, where are my eyes? But right there on that flat screen, trying to figure things out, trying to write the story before it actually happens. So I do take this very seriously. There's always too much to do and never enough time to do it, or so it feels. It depends on how you've been conditioned for the situation. I was an employee of the year twice for a broadcast company. Twice. Did I earn those positions because I was good or great at what I was doing? Or was it because I was conditioned to work very, very hard? I've been conditioned because that's the way my father raised me, to be able to take something and make it greater, but it was going to require hard work, dedication, loyalty, determination, and perseverance. That doesn't just happen overnight. And when you go and you live that life of every one of those things, it means you're going to lose a lot, and you're not going to find victory around every corner. But you keep going. You keep pushing because you've been called, and you know inside your heart this is what your determination is trying to bring in the process and purpose of this plan. But how do you develop that in someone else? How do you see it in someone else? Native Americans, the medicine man would walk around the different areas where people were living, and he would look for the extra creative. He would look for the child that had the excess of energy because he knew that he could harness that energy and teach them what he knew. I think that's what we need to do these days. Rather than looking at other people and saying, my God, you're crazy with your energy. We can take their energy and we can build with their energy. And we can create stronger communities by understanding they've got that energy to push things forward. I'm not saying that those that are sitting back watching television hour after hour after hour are weak. What I'm saying is that the energy required to watch those shows and digest those shows can be used in other areas of your life. And a way to get around that, I'm always going to suggest that you write. I'm always going to suggest that you use your creative energy in other areas. The best way to find you is to listen to you. This is not a guilt trip. This is an opportunity to step through the past 24 months. It's time to step through that mountain and become a stronger, better you. You've had time to let go of everything else. It's time to let the seeds grow. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.